Okay, next on the agenda, the agreement with the City of Dayton contract. This item's gonna be pushed to our meeting.
Number or table it, or what do you want to handle it?
We can table it if you want.
So it's 069?
No, just table.
Just table it? Okay. Yes, table it.
And 21-069. Jefferson Township Board of Trustees certify delinquent waste collection bills to the Montgomery County Auditor's Office.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 21-069.
Thank you, and seconded. Any further discussion? We covered this in the work session. Roll call, Ms. Edwards?
Trustee McGuire,
Yes.
trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes. Okay, next on the agenda, we can't do anything with it because no applications were reviewed by the Board of Trustees.
Table it.
Yes. Why don't you go ahead and make a motion to table it?
Make a motion we table that resolution.
Second motion, thank you, Mr. McLaughlin. All right, last on the list, purchasing of engine tanker fire apparatus.
It's 070.
Well, here again, Trustee McGuire, pulling up a resolution dated January 12th of this year from our legal from Nathaniel, pursuant to our revised code 505-262. The resolution for assurance of securities must be approved by unanimous vote. So there's really no sense of having this vote without Mr. Mann here. We can't go anywhere. You can't, if you finance something, we can finance a toilet seat. It has to be unanimous vote.
That's real estate only.
It's real
You're
estate,
not,
no.
Oh, it is really?
It's real estate and equipment.
real estate
It
only.
says, it's the message from,
That's your interpretation.
no, that's legal's interpretation. That was directly from the.
This had
Well,
to do
either
with
way-
fire apparatus.
Either way, I'll accept your motion to table this. Out of respect for Mr. Mann, he should be here.
I agree with that, but, okay, so maybe we need to,
No,
maybe,
no.
I will email Nathaniel again and get a clarification on this. But the way I understand it, if you're taking taxpayers' money, if we're financing anything, it has to be unanimous vote from the trustees, and that's either a piece of property or equipment, anything, is the way I read it. And maybe I'm wrong, but I will reach out to Nathaniel, forward this to him, and ask for clarification.
Okay, that concludes resolutions. There are no department reports tonight. Comments by citizens. Before you address the board of trustees, please read your name and address for the record so we can transcribe that into an accurate account of who's speaking at the meeting. Linda Raleigh, you're up.
Linda Rowley, 246 South Diamond Mill in London. In the work session, you guys were talking about the trash. I was sitting back here, I was a little confused. I hope you are not doing away with the 2 times a month for 2 times a year. From what I understood, that they would come 2 times a year and you didn't have to call in. Jefferson Township has where you can call them 2 times a month and they will come pick up anything you want picked up.
No, this is an enhancement. So
Okay, I was
that's
just
not gonna
making sure.
change. This is basically, instead of making an appointment, because a lot of folks don't know to do that, so we have stuff sitting out there for a month before they figure out.
Okay, as long as you're not doing away with what we currently have, that was my worry.
What this is, like other communities, you got a whole barn full of stuff, you wanna put it on a curb, 2 dates a year.
Okay.
You wanna be a big truck with a claw, Dayton calls it a speed loader.
Okay, that's fine. I heard you say that, but I just wanted to clarify that that was not doing away with my twice a month. We're good there, okay. And I have one more question.
Well, the other thing with the contract, while we're on that subject, is Dayton, they're raising the rates about $5 a year.
I heard you say
If
that.
you look at where this caps out, we're still ahead of what other communities are.
Right,
paying.
I love the trash service. We have great trash service. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were not giving away my 2 times a month for 2 times a year. That was my question. Now, my other question is to the fire chief. I have seen around town that I believe the administrator is driving the fire chief's car, the assistant chief's car, and I'd like to know what funds the gas, the oil, the maintenance is coming out of.
He was, but he has not. It's down at the station. He just drove it for here to home and back. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Marion Perry, you had 2 speakers request. You only get one, so if you want to cover both topics in 3 minutes.
Marion C. Perry, I live at 5140 Alton Road. That's the road where I have to listen to ATVs, dogs barking at night, female dog giving birth to puppies, which the same street I can't walk up and down in peace. The same street I listen to ATVs. The street I grew up on is no longer what it used to be. It's not going to be a ghetto. I can't call the sheriff and tell him there's people riding ATVs and making too much noise. I can't take a nap because of the noise. I can't walk my dog up the street. I can't walk him down the street. Everybody says, oh, walk him around the street. Okay. I go down Aldrin. I can either go to, well, I do. I go Kimball Lane to Ballard. There's a pit bull there. There's 2 of them. But one is in the house, the other one is on the chain outside. I can walk into Derby. There's several pit bulls on that street. One customer has the nerve to put like a privacy fence so you don't see it, but there's a kennel there. I have to listen to that dog's noise when she gives birth to puppies. I have to listen to, there's a lady I go visit when I walk on Derby. She has a next door neighbor that the dog is, oh, well, he's a young dog. He's a pit bull cane corso. So then there's a lady I walk up the street, pit bull. Then when I turn to go home, I have to go about Blairwood, then down Ballard to go home, on Kimball Lane and back home. There's a little girl that lives on my street. She walks by herself. She can't come home straight down Altram Road. And this is a shame. I can't call the sheriff to do anything. I can't get anybody to do anything. But they have our rights, and my rights, and that little girl's rights, and her parents' rights are being trounced on. I'm addressing both things because that's what I gotta deal with, that's what I gotta listen to, and that's what I don't have peace of. Jefferson used to be, that road used to be peaceful, but once these people moved in, I have to watch people speed down, up the street, down the street. Don't try to walk across the street to go visit somebody, because you might be ran over. They don't know the speed limit. I asked for a speed sign. I asked for them to be one of those signs they put to show how fast the person is driving. They don't drive the speed limit, period. Thank you. That's all I'm addressing. Now, Jim, did I get my 3 minutes in?
Perfect.
Did I get my 3 minutes in?
Maxie Jones. You're up. Please read your name and address for the record before you start.
I was just gonna open my mouth before you cut me off. Maxie Jones, 4843 Bangor. Mr. McGuire, I can't say anything because the last time you said you didn't want to hear this BS and you didn't care. And you also told me that, tell it to, the zone, yes,
Justin.
Justin. So I guess since you told me to tell him, what can I say? What can I do? I'm not beating up on him, just doing what you told me to do. You said you didn't care, it's on tape. And then you said you didn't want to hear BS from another resident. And then I said, well, I just want to tell you about a neighbor who has a problem. And you said, tell it to Justin. People call him all the time and he never returns the call, so thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
It wasn't a comment, it was a sad statement.
Sheila Back.
I'm Sheila Beck. I live at 1700 Alamo Court. And I just wanted to, I sent an email earlier today to Steve and the trustees about 2 holes that I've been complaining about for the longest. I did notice today, and I want to say whoever fixed it or filled the 1 hole, thank you. I do want to say that. But I also, the other hole on the corner of Alamo and Tucson, at the meeting before last, it was stated that in order to fix that, it was going to take more work. And the trustees would have to vote on that. And I wanted to know what's the status on that. Have you guys made a decision as to when we're going to repair it, or? And this is
I don't have any information or progress on where that stands. All I do know is it cannot be pothole patched, so it's going to be more extensive repairs. So the road department doesn't have credit cards. They don't have the equipment and accounts, so it's going to have to be be subbed out if we go to that direction and the trustees approve that type of work.
Okay, and I'm bringing this up again because I sent an email way back December of 2020 about the same home. And here we are, almost a whole year later, and I don't have any additional information, just the same thing. So is there a time frame, and I can get back to you to find out when you could at least have a conversation about this so that we can see about getting this taken care of?
Location? Give me the location.
It's on the corner of Alamo and Tucson. Maple Cross has been talking about this forever, and there's a couple other residents that's complaining about this. So do you think if I follow up by the end of, when can I follow back up and get some kind of?
Without Wolf here, I can't promise you a plan of action. I mean, it's just coming across my email to look at today. I did think it was nice of the road department to get out and patch those holes. So they did report back to me so that we had some information for this meeting. But it's going to take, this is not a simple fix, so it's going to take a little bit more work to figure out what we're going to do.
Right, but I'm only just asking that, to at least discuss it, so you can give me some kind of status, because I don't want to continue over and over asking about the same issue. And lastly, I'm gonna sit down is that the Jefferson Neighborhood Association's garage sale. Community garage sale is this Saturday from 9 to 5. So anybody that would like to participate, just put your stuff out and make money for the new department.
Okay, Constance D. Wills. Please read your name and address for the record, please.
Constance Wills, 5127 Derby Road. Haven't been to one of these meetings before, but there are some issues that are going on. The character of the neighborhood is definitely changing. I don't know what kind of ordinances there are with regard to property maintenance, abandoned vehicles, unlicensed vehicles, but the streets are being clogged with people leaving vehicles that don't move for months or years at a time. They're unlicensed, license have expired. A lot of the people who own them don't even live in the township. They're leaving them at the homes of relatives or friends, whatever. They're just abandoning them there on the street. Last winter, it was so bad that they actually had to go down the street with a bullhorn asking people to try to do something with these vehicles because they couldn't get a snowplow down the street. And I'm just wondering, I know that this is a non-home rule area, and I don't know what's on the books to enforce, doing something about this kind of behavior, or what can be enforced under the Ohio Revised Code.
First of all, the township does have a property maintenance code that was adopted 2 years ago. So things like gutters, roofs, stuff like that. The trick is getting to the backlog of all that. The person that normally handles that's been out on extended sick leave.
Is that the code enforcement person?
Right, so our zoning administrator has been helping out with that department as he deals with the backlog of new construction projects and everything, and we got backed up with people building houses and all that. So he's been working through those. But that's the #1 reason people come to our meetings. It's the #1 thing that makes our phone ring. So there can never be enough out here, but it's a position that we've had to get creative on funding it because there's just not general fund money available to pursue it probably how you would expect it. The unlicensed vehicle, that's a fairly simple fix. We went through a 6-month period of time because of the situation with the License Bureau. Law enforcement was not enforcing the issue of expired tags on vehicles on the streets. That's been lifted, so if we've got, in the way that I've been doing it, if I got a car with an expired plate, I just take a picture of it, email the sheriffs, and they're pretty good about taking care of it. So we've been able to work through it, we just needed to identify it, but I don't believe that the patrol crews are gonna go out looking for those. I think we're gonna have to initiate that.
We have been calling, and I do have to say thank you that in the past, maybe 3-4 weeks, there seems to have been some enforcement effort that they are tagging the vehicles and they have towed some way. The other issue with property maintenance is we have a neighbor who is literally running a junkyard. He just hasn't posted a sign. There are old appliances, hot water tanks, cars on blocks in the yard, just, you name it, he's probably got some of those there. What can be done about, enforcing, having him remove some of that stuff from the property?
Step one would be to get with Justin Olszewski with zoning, a simple complaint. We also have it on our website. You can do a complaint off of our website and then you can track it. So that would be the best way. I guess it starts with a complaint. And then if you want to leave us an address, we could email him and at least get something started so they can go out and make a review. But the Jefferson seems to have a scrapping culture. And there's some really interesting examples of it throughout the township, so. But,
And the gentleman's name is Olszewski?
First name is Justin, and then Riley, and Olszewski.
Mr. McClure, what was that address?
State for service, number, regular number.
You got the address
Extension
of the
109.
junkyard property.
1770 Hopewell Avenue. Yes.
What was that address?
1770 Hopewell.
You get his extension 109, and the same, 260.
I think the same number.
And he only, returns calls on Tuesdays and Saturdays, so. You can leave a message, if you can get him, try to call him again on Tuesday.
Okay. David Hicks, please read your name and address for the record.
David Hicks, 4977 Hackett Drive. I'm calling here regarding the lack of, the township is not cutting grass. I have two properties across from me, 4962 Hackett and 4972. Back in March, Tony cited it. It's been cut by the township 3 times, only after I have sent email and called to complain of the lack of being cut. The first time I got a response from you, Mr. McGuire, 20 minutes after Tony said, hey, I'm running a little behind and I will get it done. I got a response from you saying how Tony's, he's doing under the bus, but he cut the grass. Second time, I sent an email to all 3 trustees, no response. And I called a trustee who called Mr. Wolf and got it cut. The third time, I called Mr. Mann and I chewed him a new rear end. And I got it cut. I shouldn't have to go through this. I pay my taxes. And speaking of taxes, 4972, I looked at the tax bill from last year. I paid because I know the system, I've got the auditor's office to reduce my taxes because of the conditions of the houses and properties in my neighborhood. I pay in a year what they pay in a half because of the lack of property maintenance enforcement. Now, I also want to go back and see that you, a couple weeks ago, you did an assessment for 2020 for when the township cut properties here. Townships own, according to your spreadsheet, almost $100,000. These assessments should have been put on the property tax bill due in February of this year. So you basically gave somebody an extra year to pay an assessment, if they're gonna pay it, because, you know, they may or may not. But then when I looked at the assessment for those two houses, 49, 72, and 62. They were both cut, every time they were cut in 2020, which Township did a great job of cutting because they cut in a timely manner, no complaints. And you know I don't really care much for the Township. But 62 paid, was assessed $420. No, 1,300, 72, 420. So 72 got, let's just say they cut the price 6 times. They got a bargain, $70 a shot. Your resolution says it's $500 an hour. I look.
You need to wrap up your comments, you're past.
Okay, I'll wrap it up. The assessment, you got 190 assessments, 162 of them are for $420. That's not, I have a hard time believing that's correct.
Okay, that concludes trustee, or citizen comments. Trustee reports.
Yeah, so the amount of physical work I've done this past 2 weeks is not near as much as I've done in the past. Haven't cut any trees, haven't sprayed any cemeteries or department. But I spent quite a bit of time in just looking at what we're doing in the management of this township. And those things need to change. That's all I got.
I guess we already covered this in the meeting, but I think it was a nice win for the contract, for the township to have the extra trash pickups, just deal with problems. I have never been satisfied with the efforts in code enforcement. It's been a struggle to get that piece going. And I don't like the progress after reviewing what has transpired in that department the last year. But we can be doing it better and doing more. And I'm not real happy with the numbers that I saw on that. So I'm in agreement with some of the complaints tonight. It's just a matter of townships limited on what we can do, but if we can cite it and at least mow it and clean up what we can, it's a start. But I'm definitely not happy with the current feel of things out here. I know you're not either. That's all I have.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Board meeting will